Hello, my wonderful little honey drops, and welcome back to another episode of Fanfare. Gosh, I haven't done this in a little bit. That being said, today we are going to talk about a movie that has really taken over the world by a beautiful golden storm. K-pop Demon Hunters. Yes, I know that I'm late to the review party, but you know what? I still want to talk about this movie. So that's what I'm gonna do. I actually watched this with my friend, K Koda. It was his first time watching it, and it was my second, I think, because I was taking notes. So I took clips out of our watch to spread throughout this funny video. Now, I'm gonna set this up into some categories: the things I liked, the things I disliked, theories, and then what I'm hoping for the future of this work, since 2 sequels are seemingly to be in the future for us. So let's start off with the things I didn't really like, just to rip off the band-aid, shall we? Before we get into the meat of things, I want to complain really quickly about the ramen cups. We see them for a very brief moment in the movie, but I really don't like them. I think the art of it is cute, but I don't know. The Mira being spicy cup is kind of one of those things that does make sense to me, because she is spicy. She has that fire to her when she does her stuff, whereas Rumi being called superstar feels rude, right? I mean, all of the girls are stars, so what makes Rumi special in the public eye? And then there's Zoe, and hers is my least favorite. I understand that it would most likely actually happen this way, but the Sam's hat, and for it to be hamburger flavored, it just feels a little rude. But anyways, besides that side beef, let's continue. The main thing I didn't quite care for was the Saja boys themselves. I mean, we have 4 other boys in this group besides Jinu, and they really have no personality and virtually no lines in this film. And if you disagree with me, then that's just all the headcanons being shot around in your brain. I dare you to watch the every scene with blank Saja boy video and then come back to me. They are all like 5 minutes long. But really, we don't know who these boys are. Why they're working with Jinu, if they have human trauma like Jinu does, which is another thing that I don't quite understand, but we will get to that in a moment. Anyways, let's focus on Jinu really quick before I go back to that. Now, based on Jinu's backstory, he might have died or have been taken and become a demon that way instead of having his soul eaten properly. More like soul corruption instead of soul eating. However, we don't actually know because the movie doesn't actually tell us. But given the different looks of the demons like Jinu versus the ones on the plane, there's gotta be a difference, right? This is why I wish that they would have made this a series of episodes right off the bat. There are so many people in this film that we know nothing about. Like, who is Rumi's dad? What was her mom like? What was Zoe's family like? What caused Mira's trauma? Why were they picked to be Huntrix? Is there a ceremony of finding the next group of girls? There are so many questions with this film and just so few answers. Granted, obviously we're getting more, but don't get me wrong, it is a good movie and the music is great. I mean, I wouldn't have made so many covers otherwise, but there is so much that was left oversaid and also undersaid. For example, we know so much and yet so little about Rumi herself. We understand her trauma, but we don't know her family. The girl doesn't even have pictures of her mother anywhere in her room, not even a poster of her mother's girl band. There is so much missing from this lore that it kind of makes me upset. This world could be filled with so much, and yet it's not. The next thing I want to talk about is the ending itself. There are 4 main things I don't like. Guima's ending, Jinu's ending, the scene with Celine, and the Hanmoon in general. Now, you might be wondering, Bee, what is your issue with the ending? Well, let's go over it, shall we? First, the Celine scene. While I understand the idea behind it, it is a bit strange, isn't it? I mean, the fact that Celine lives so far away while also being in the girl's apartment in a flashback is just weird to me. Like, I understand the girls having their own space, but why was she there if she didn't live with Rumi and helicopter over her? She's not their agent. That's Bobby. And if she was living with them, why was she at the tree's ceremony place? Which, by the way, what is that place? Do all the women who support the Hanmoon get buried there like Rumi's mom? I mean, we do see the cemetery that does look like it's pretty close by. And also, why is it so far away from town? Is it because of the ceremony? Or is it because of her whole keep things inside shtick? Sorry, I'm getting off track. Clearly Celine has a pretty big part in Rumi's story, and I appreciate what they were trying to do, showing how Celine's half-hearted care for Rumi was causing all of this pain for her, and was also the reason I think that Rumi's marks were spreading in the first place. But that leads into their fight. Celine was clearly trying to fix everything by putting Rumi back into her box and keeping her into the good little puppet Celine wanted. I will say that I did enjoy the conflict of Rumi wanting to be her true self. However, not only was it strange to have Rumi start teleporting when we hadn't seen anything like that before in the film, thus giving more to the list of how many powers do all these demons have, but also to have Rumi state that
this is the Hanmoon I'm supposed to protect. I'm glad to see it destroyed.
that just doesn't feel correct. I fully thought Rumi was going to change to the dark side when she said that. I thought her friends were going to have to pull her out, but no, they pulled the strangest bait and switch with her, and with her actually meaning, we're actually going to make a new Hanmoon, a better one! I mean, I saw it as a bait and switch myself, but maybe I'm just dumb, which is very plausible since I tend to turn my brain off during movies unless I go in wanting to do something with it. Either way, it's strange. Which then brings us to Rumi and Jinu's relationship as a whole, along with Jinu's sacrifice. While there are moments I liked, and I'll talk about those a little later on, Jinu's death is honestly kind of lackluster. Now, before you get out your pitchforks, okay, let me explain. While I understand that Rumi and Jinu are meant to be romantic interests, they don't really feel like it. And I mean that in the sense of they really just didn't have the time to be in love. I mean, this movie takes place over the span of 2 weeks. Maybe it's just the ace in me, but that feels kind of fast for true love. Crush and start dating, sure, but true love? I don't see it. It felt more like losing a beloved friend when Jinu gave his soul to Rumi. I mean, the two really didn't even go on a proper date. Also, really quick, how did he get his soul back? And where is it now? Is it in Rumi's sword? I know earlier I said that maybe it was soul corruption, so maybe that's what it is that he's always had his soul. It just was corrupted and he just, purified it and then gave it to Rumi and now it's in her sword, but I would like an answer to that, please. That all aside, while I felt his sacrifice was caring and well-intended, they didn't even kiss. He didn't even gently touch her cheek. And she didn't touch his when he was literally dying. It's a fail, honestly. And as a quick little sidebar, I also didn't like the opening bit where the girls were burping, to interrupt the demons. While obviously all humans burp and all of that stuff, I've never found those jokes funny, so that scene just wasn't for me. I mean, the uh-oh stinky meme that was popular a couple of years ago, that was the most repulsive thing to me, while my friends at the time found it to be the funniest thing. But I know that that's just a personal bias, so let's move on, okay? So, the Hanmoon and Gima. Guima? However you say his name. I'm just gonna say Gima, because I think that's how you say it, but I genuinely don't know. It might be their accents, that like the accent that they're putting on the name, but I'm just really bad with names, so let's stick with him first, okay? Why is he just fire? Is he the only like true demon? And when he's cut in half, does that just weaken him and send him back to the demon realm? Is he dead? Does he have the ability to create a human form? Is he chained to the earth or something? I think it would be really cool if in the sequel we get to see him as a much smaller flame that feeds off human souls or despair to grow larger. And I mean, if he had a human form, I think we all would like to see that. I think it would be interesting. But anyways, there's also the Hanmoon. Clearly, at the end of the film, it was recreated, but I don't believe that it was goldenly sealed. I mean, I doubt they'd be making a sequel where the golden Hanmoon is broken, right? That feels like everything that they've been working towards was a lie. That there was never a true way to seal the demons away. Does that make sense? I mean, if there was never a true way to have the demons sealed and them having to figure that out, sure, that might make a cool movie. But would I actually like to see that in action? Not really. I think that would be a real pain to make into a good story, and I think it would just come up lackluster, honestly. Anyways, I don't think the Hanmoon was sealed, only reformed, since Rumi said that they'd make a new one, and we can at least guess that with Gima in the human realm being so big and scary that the old Hanmoon is, well, gone. So, until the girls recreated it, of course. Also, if they seal the Hanmoon, then what are the girls gonna be doing for income? I don't think anyone has thought of that, and if they have, I want to know if they'd be able to survive on royalties or something. Or maybe random tours once a year? Sure, they could make new music and just continue with that, but if their main job of keeping the Hanmoon, together is gone, would you really want to continue making music like that? I don't know. Also, what about Rumi's marks? Will they lighten with time due to her accepting herself, or will they always be there? I think that they're gonna always be there since it is a part of her or whatever, but they do seem lighter at the end of the film. But also, how are they gonna explain that to her fans? Skincare? Skin cancer? Birthmarks? Tattoos? Probably not tattoos, but... And speaking of the fans, they say that a lot of people go missing in this film. Are they all dead? I mean, the train alone, on average, usually trains in South Korea hold about 1,000 people, maybe more. That plus all of the others that have gone missing, we don't get an exact number, but they're all missing, gone. We don't know if they come back. And also, if their souls have gotten turned into demons, then they're killing their fans, right? Because they must turn into those same demons they kill to protect the Hanmoon. And we never see Huntrix free any of them. They're just gone. It's kind of depressing. Anyways, that's enough of that side of things, I think. Let's talk about the stuff I did like, become a little chipper. So I think the best place to start on this side of things would be how the girls look. I mean, the character designs are really cool in this film. I think that how each girl is styled differently but are also cohesive is pretty cool. along with their weapons also showing off who they are as people. For instance, Mira, while she's still feminine, but she also gives that vibe that she will take you down if needed, but her gokdo, thank you Google, causes her to put people at a distance. Even when Rumi is showing to have demon marks, Mira is the first to bring up her weapon. She thinks she has to keep people at a distance because of possibly her rough past that we should probably learn more about. This also could be connected to her parents and brother that we know nothing about. We don't even have the brother's name, which I think is a little sad, but it's also pretty safe to say that they don't have a good relationship with each other. She's trying to brag about her now new status in the song Golden to keep herself, together, grounded. Then you have Zoe. She has a skater girl vibe, someone who dresses like she's chill and doesn't have a care in the world, but she does care. For example, her weapon, she carries shinkals, or spirit knives. They're blunt knives, so she can throw them at demons to hurt them, but they won't actually hurt humans. For the most part. Obviously, hitting anyone with an object is still going to hurt, but just there's a higher chance that it's not going to shed blood, because they're blunt. But also, she has many of them. I personally think that these are connected to her being Korean but also living in the US for a good amount of years. There's a slight theory that her parents were divorced or that they were immigrants and they moved to the US, but either way, she feels split, thus multiple knives. And finally, we have Rumi. To be fair, Rumi is kind of the weakest out of the three girls when it comes to her clothing and weapon comparison, mostly because we spend the most time with her. We don't need to learn things through her outfits or weaponry or whatever. But let me at least try to compare things. So Rumi obviously covers her patterns with her jackets and her turtleneck type clothing while also having a sword. Most of the time, wielding a sword means being in power and having influence or authority, which she is the leader of Huntrix, so she does have authority, just not really over herself. She is trying to run constantly from her marks and from that side of her that's a demon, but she also has to be the leader of the group. So, then you have the Saja boys. Now, I know I talked about how little they are in this film, but they're so cute. I mean, in total, they have maybe 20 lines, but I think that they're really funny and, well, put together. I really wish we had more of them. I mean, like I said, we know nothing about them, but I think it's funny how they all have a vibe set to their name. Besides Jinu, of course, because he's the leader and we spend the most time with him, but that's still, I enjoy that all the other four have cute stereotypes attached to them. Mystery is mysterious, Baby is the baby-faced cute one, Romance being the flirty one, and Abby being the one with abs. Now, speaking of our singers, let's talk about the music. I really love the music the most, so much so that I actually bought the CD. I got the Romance in case anyone was wondering, but anyways, I'm not actually sure why I like the music. I think I like each song for a different reason. Every song has its own interesting style, but if I had to rank them, here you go. Now don't come at me. I like what I like, especially Your Idol, okay? You don't understand how much I love that song with all the visuals. I think the lyrics mixed with that cult vibe fit just so well, and the lyrics. And then you have the other songs, and I really like the song Strategy. It's so poppy and honestly kind of fun. I like the vibe and the joke of it, and I also like the fact that it isn't sung by anyone. It's just a background song, and it's really nice. And actually most of the jokes in the movie are pretty good. There are some that don't quite land, like the burping in the beginning of the movie for me, but overall, most of the jokes at least get a giggle out of me. My favorite joke being the first time that Jinu and Rumi meet, along with Ginu thinking Rumi's invite was for a date. I think it's funny and really cute. Honestly, in general, I like the relationship that Rumi and Ginu have. I just wish that they had more time to be together and blossom their clearly close relationship. Just not close enough to warrant love, in my opinion, but definitely care. And the final thing I like about this film is the fandom it created along with the voice actors I found through it. For those who don't know, I'm an aspiring voice actor myself, so I enjoy following voice actors who care about the work they do, even if they only have 5 lines in the whole film. And what makes me happy is watching voice actors be excited about their work, and then watching fans rave about their work as well. For example, the main voice actor I love tracking on Twitter, I'm never calling it X, you can fight me, is Alan Lee. Also known for his wonderful voice work as Walter in Duke of Death and His Maid, Kohaku in Yashahime, and Shu Kuranai from Beyblade. I think I said that name wrong, but we're gonna pretend like I didn't. And those are just a few of his roles. I highly recommend looking into them. He does great stuff. Anyways, his tweets are really funny, and he's showing love for all of the art people are making of Mystery, and it's just really heartwarming. I really love to see it. Whenever it comes across my feed, it gives me a little warm hug and feeling, and I'm mumbling, don't worry about it, I feel warm and fuzzy on the inside, okay? I mean, he even made his profile pic Mystery at the time of making this video. I'm honestly pretty similar myself. There are so many roles that I've been lucky enough to do that have been really small, but I loved doing them so much. It's just really nice. Now, the final thing is the fandom in general. Now, obviously, there are people who are very passionate about how they feel about this movie, and I'm sure they'll watch this and leave me in comments. Thank you for helping the algorithm. But there's so many people just being kind and wonderful. There's so much art and edits that I love watching, and it makes me feel all just warm and fuzzy on the inside. It's really nice. Alright, thank you so much for sticking around with me for this long. I really appreciate you all listening to me ramble for however long this video is going to be. I'm really not sure. I'll figure it out when I'm editing this. Anyways, let's talk about what I want from the continuation of this IP. Honestly, there's kind of a lot. I really want to know more about the girls' families. Like, what happened with Mira and her family? Does she still talk to them? What kind of trauma caused her to feel like others will always abandon her? Or Zoe, how is her family? Why did she come to Korea if she was originally in America? Is she still in touch with them? And of course, Rumi, how did her mother die? Is her demon father still alive? Is he in prison? Also, are all the demons dead? I mean, did Gima actually die? Are the Saja boys, coming back? Clearly, Abby exploded, but I want to know what happened to the other boys, because we don't really see what happened. And, well, I do have ideas on what I want to happen, and I know these are very likely not to happen, but let's just indulge me for a moment. So just take my hand, get a snack, breathe, and listen to me be a really dumb fuck, okay? Alright. Now, my current theory with all of those other girlies is that Mira most likely was a child that tried to express herself the way she wanted to, but was forced into a box of the perfect rich girl aesthetic. But she wanted to be more. She wanted to be herself, so she broke out of that forced mold and left her family behind. Then, for Zoe, there's a theory I saw that maybe her family was a mixed family, one parent being full Korean and the other being a full American. We clearly see that she went to an American high school, so most likely she made her way back to Korea during her college years. But I honestly kind of like the thought of her parents being divorced, or maybe they're like the parents in the Ultraman movie. Besides the disappearing part, And for Rumi's family, obviously we have her toxic auntie, Celine, who I actually kind of like from a story perspective because I think she can make a good antagonist in future works. But that aside, we don't know anything about Rumi's parents besides her mother being human and what she looked like, and then her dad being the demon. So there's a lot of blank spots to be filling here, okay? And my current favorite theory is that while Celine was trying to kill Rumi's dad, she accidentally killed Rumi's mom, and then as she was dying in Celine's arms, Rumi's mom told her to protect her daughter. Now, Celine promises that she'll do this, and when she finally meets Rumi, she realizes this little girl's part demon. However, she promised, so she put herself and Rumi into a delusion that if they seal the Hanmoon, her marks will go away, trying to make Rumi a normal little girl. As for her father in this theory, I think he's in hiding, or maybe in some sort of demon prison, maybe? Either way, I think he's alive, but will probably die in the next project because who needs all their parents, right? Now when you have great friends. And speaking of families, I think Jinu is inside Rumi's sword. I know, so original, but hear me out, okay? The thing is, Jinu regains his soul or purifies it or whatever, but he gives it to Rumi, right? To which then allows her to get her sword all powered up and it transforms. So where did the soul go? That's right, it's in the sword. Then, could that turn into a musical version of Soul Eater? All right. I think that could be fun. Okay, a talking sword. I feel like it would be funny if her soon-to-be boyfriend got turned into a sword. Okay, all right, I think that'd be funny. Then they can try and work with getting Jinu a body back, and maybe even getting all the Saja boys back and creating their band again, and having their souls be purified, and maybe they're normal, and it'll be great. I've read some fanfictions like that. We'll be fine. Then they all can make a group. Okay, all right. Maybe even creating a little true love plot for all the girlies. And maybe even Bobby could get a love interest. The man deserves love, okay? Now, my favorite theories of the Saja boys are either like Jinu, where Gima pulled them in and corrupted their souls, or Gima ate their souls, and they're taken to look pretty by some sort of spell, Because we do see what they look like without their fanciness, and when you have tusks for teeth like that, I feel like maybe, the spell is kind of important. But there's also a theory that they're all the boy band group that was in the doctor's office, but I don't really like that one that much because it just feels kind of lazy. And that would also mean that, they're pretty recent turned demons, and I don't know. I just feel like all of the boys being from different eras and Jinu bringing them all together to make this group, I think that'd be more fun. But mainly I just think Jinu, coming and sewing this group together and taking them under his wing and helping them, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of nice. So here are my final thoughts. The number one thing I want is for passionate and fantastic music to be put into the next project. It's simple, but that's what I want. That was my favorite part of this film. So for the next project in this IP, that's what I want. I also would really love for them to, make it a series instead of a movie, because I think it'll give it more space to do things. And I think that the movie was just too short for everything that they wanted to put in. I understand why they made it a movie, but my hopes is that the story will become more fleshed out and we'll be able to fully put everything together. If I had to rate this film, I think it would be a 6 or 7 out of a 10. It had enough charm and cool music for me to enjoy it, but it has so many small bits of clutter that just don't fit right. And it just doesn't make me love this film. I like it, but I don't love it. And I am excited to see what comes next. Do not get me wrong, I'm excited to see what they do. But here's the main question, and it's a doozy, okay? So stick with me. What does Mystery look like under all those bangs?